Alright, let's talk about the South China Sea. No, not the delicious soup, though I'd argue the geopolitical situation there is significantly spicier. See, it's become this whole tense standoff, kind of like a family Thanksgiving, where everyone's brought a different map claiming the same pie. China's been flexing, saying most of it is theirs, even though it overlaps with other countries' metaphorical slices, especially the Philippines. We're talking close calls with ships, lasers being pointed. It's giving everyone flashbacks to that time someone microwaved fish in the office. The Philippines is understandably nervous. Imagine someone setting up a badminton net in your backyard and saying, "Oh, this? It's always been mine, not cool, right?" So Filipinos are asking, if things go south, who's got our back? The good news is, it's not exactly a lonely hearts club over there. Several countries have basically said, China, back off. This isn't how we play maritime monopoly. We're talking big hitters, regional players, all saying they want things resolved peacefully, but also, don't think you can just bully your way into owning international waters. So today, we're diving deep into the 10 countries most likely to tell China to maybe find a new hobby besides maritime claim jumping, and how they do it. Spoiler alert. It involves more than just sternly worded letters, though those definitely exist. First up, the heavyweight champion of Don't Mess With My Friends, the United States. Remember that treaty they signed back in 1951? Yeah, that one basically says, an attack on the Philippines is an attack on America. It's like that friend who always has your back, even when you're wrong, but in this case, being wrong is China claiming a whole sea. And the US isn't just talking. They've got ships in the area. They do joint exercises with the Philippines called Balikatan, which honestly sounds like a delightful cooking show, but is actually about military strategy. They've even got bases in the Philippines now. It's like moving your very buff friend into your spare room just in case that neighbor who keeps borrowing your lawnmower gets any ideas. The US brings the big guns, literally and figuratively. Their presence alone is a huge deterrent. It's one thing to throw your weight around with a smaller country, it's another thing entirely when you know the world's superpower is watching and they're not afraid to use their very expensive, very loud toys. Next up, Japan. Who knows a thing or two about dealing with China's, let's call it, assertiveness? See, China's been trying the same sea-claiming tactics in the East China Sea with Japan, and Japan's not having it. It's like finding out the person who cut you in line at the bank is also trying to steal your parking spot. So, Japan's been lending a helping hand to the Philippines. They've donated patrol boats, helped with military upgrades, and they're even talking about sharing military bases. It's the geopolitical equivalent of saying, hey, I know what you're going through, wanna go get matching "Don't Tread on Me" bumper stickers. But it's not just about shared annoyance with China. Japan and the Philippines actually go way back, and they both want a stable, peaceful region. They're like the responsible friends trying to calm everyone down while China's over there spiking the punch bowl with territorial claims. Now, let's head down under to Australia, a country that takes its barbecues, beaches, and standing up to bullies very seriously. They've been pretty clear. China's behavior in the South China Sea, not a fan. It's like finding a venomous spider in your shoe. Unpleasant and needs addressing. Australia's got the Philippines back in a few ways. They've been joining those freedom of navigation patrols doing military exercises with the Philippines, and basically saying, China, we wrote the book on international law, and this right here is a whole chapter on why you're wrong. And let's not forget, Australia's part of the Quad, which is like the cool kids table of the Indo-Pacific region, except instead of gossiping about who has a crush on whom, they're talking about keeping the peace and making sure everyone plays fair. Australia's got the military muscle and the diplomatic know-how to be a real asset to the Philippines if things get messy. Chapter 4. United Kingdom, the Empire Strikes Back, at Maritime Mischief. Next up, the United Kingdom. Now, they might be a little far from the South China Sea, but they've got a long history of saying, that's not very sporting, old chap, whenever someone tries to throw their weight around. It's like finding out your quiet, bookish neighbor is actually a black belt in karate. Don't underestimate them. The UK's been sending their ships through the South China Sea, just to remind everyone that it's international waters, not China's personal swimming pool. They've also been backing up the Philippines diplomatically, saying the 2016 ruling that said China's claims were bogus? Yeah, that stands. They might not have the same firepower as the US, but the UK's got experience, they've got reach, and they're not afraid to use both to say, China mate, maybe take a chill pill and let's sort this out like civilized nations. Chapter 5 France Oui Oui to supporting the Philippines. Bonjour, that's France everyone. They might be known for wine, cheese and romance, but they also know a thing or two about standing up for what they believe in, even if it means sailing halfway across the world to do it. France actually has some islands in the Pacific, so they're not exactly strangers to the neighborhood. They've been sending their navy to do exercises with the Philippines and other countries in the region, kind of like a friendly neighborhood watch, but with more boats and fewer casseroles. They've also been pretty vocal about supporting the Philippines diplomatically, saying that China needs to follow the rules, and that trying to claim a whole sea is about as welcome as a skunk at a garden party. Chapter 6 Canada. Sorry, not sorry for supporting international law. Now we all know Canada. They're like the really nice neighbor who always brings over cookies and shovels your driveway without you even asking. But don't let the niceness fool you. Canada takes its international law seriously. They might not have a huge military presence in the South China Sea, but they've been very clear. China, you need to play by the rules. They've been doing joint training missions with the Philippines, sharing intelligence, and basically saying, "We're on your side, eh?" Canada's like that friend who might not be the loudest in the room, but when they speak, everyone listens. They're respected on the world stage, and their support for the Philippines carries a lot of weight, even if it doesn't involve aircraft carriers and fighter jets. Next up, Germany, the economic powerhouse of Europe. They might be known for their cars, their beer, and their efficiency, but they also know that a stable, rules-based world is good for business. Germany's been sending ships to the Indo-Pacific, just to show that they're paying attention. They've also been speaking out against China's actions, saying that everyone needs to respect international law, or things might get awkward at the next G20 summit. Germany's strength lies in its economy and its diplomacy. They're like the quiet kid in class who everyone knows is going to be CEO one day. They might not be the first ones to jump into a fight, but their support for the Philippines, both in words and in potential economic action, is a big deal. Now this isn't just one country, but 27, the European Union. They might have their differences, but they all agree on one thing. China, you can't just go around claiming seas like you're collecting Pokemon. The EU's been very clear about supporting the Philippines' right to its own waters. They've also been working on strengthening ties with Southeast Asian countries because nothing says we don't approve of your behavior like making friends with your neighbor. The EU might not have a single, unified military, but their combined economic and diplomatic power is nothing to sneeze at. They're like that teacher you didn't want to disappoint, even if they couldn't technically give you detention. Next, we have the Netherlands. Now, they might be small, but they're the home of the International Court of Justice, the very court that ruled against China's claims in the South China Sea. It's like finding out your quiet librarian is actually the one who writes all the laws. The Dutch have been sending ships to participate in joint patrols, because nothing says we respect international law like enforcing it. They've also been standing firm on the 2016 ruling because nobody likes it when you ignore the referee. They might not be a military powerhouse, but the Netherlands represents the legal backbone of the Philippines case. They're like the quiet kid in class who aced the test everyone else cheated on. Their support might be small in size, but it's huge in principle. Finally, let's talk about New Zealand. They're known for their stunning landscapes, their friendly people, and their commitment to peaceful solutions. But don't mistake their peaceful nature for weakness. New Zealand's been very vocal about their concerns about China's behavior in the South China Sea. They've also been working with the Philippines on defense training and humanitarian aid, because nothing says we've got your back like helping out when things get tough. New Zealand might not have a huge military, but their voice carries weight in international affairs. They're like that friend who never yells, but when they do speak, everyone shuts up and listens. Their support for the Philippines might be quiet, but it's unwavering. So, there you have it. The South China Sea might be a tense place right now, but the Philippines is far from alone. From the military might of the United States, to the quiet diplomacy of New Zealand, a whole host of countries are saying, China, it's time to cool it with the sea grabbing. It's a reminder that even in a world where things can seem pretty bleak, there are still countries willing to stand up for what's right, for international law, and for each other. And that's something we can all feel a little bit better about. So, What do you think? Which of these countries do you think will be the most important ally to the Philippines if things go sideways? Let us know in the comments below. And while you're there, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell, because we've got a whole lot more deep dives into the wild world of geopolitics coming your way. Stay informed, stay curious, and we'll see you next time.